Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 34 of Pop Icon the Podcast. I am your host David, host of Pop Icon Radio, live every Wednesday morning from 8 to 9 in the morning. Yes, we have changed things up. I said I was going to change things up last week, and it's official, they've been changed. So Wednesday mornings from 8 to 9 in the morning, we're talking pop culture. We are playing pop music on 90.7 WKGC HD3, the alternation. And we are also going to be moving the podcast to Wednesdays so that we can actually recap everything that we talked about on the podcast on the show. So, hey guys, welcome to Pop Icon, the podcast where we talk the good, the bad, the iconic pop culture news of the week. This week, we're going to be talking about news from the week of May 10th until May 17th. And we have got so much to talk about. We've got to start out, obviously, with the Billboard Hot 100, the box office top 10. But then we're going to get into some really interesting news. We have got so much going on this week. It's kind of crazy, actually. We've got some great horror movie news that's going to be coming out soon. We've got some scary news and people being attacked, some deaths. That's actually kind of crazy. And then we've got a bunch of people like feuding in Hollywood in our iconic section. But to start things off, I said that we'd start off with the box office top 10 of the week. We can jump right into that. We have got number 10 this week for the weekend of May 10th through May 12th. We have got number 10, Abigail, 1.1 million. At number 9, we have got Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, 1.4. I'm like, oh, that's out again? Interesting. Okay, cool. Number 8, we've got Civil War, 1.8 million. Number 7, we have got Kung Fu Panda 4, 1.8 million. At number 6, we have got Unsung Hero, 2.5 million. At number 5, we've got Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, 2.6 million. At number 4, Taro, 3.4 million. My friend Stacy actually told me about Taro and said that it wasn't that great. I had a feeling it wasn't going to be, but you know what? It is what it is. We've got number 3. We've got Challengers, 4.4 million. I actually saw Challengers. I told you guys about that last week, and it was pretty good. I was like part of that 4.4 million that was like contributed towards them. And I didn't mind it. I liked the movie. Am I going to watch it again? I don't know, maybe. Number 2, we've got The Fall Guy, 14 million. And at number 1, for the second week in a row, oh wait, no, this is the first week, I guess, 58 million, The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So I haven't really been watching this new like reboot of the Planet of the Apes. I heard it's kind of good. James Franco's in it. Doesn't he like get shot and killed? I don't know. That's kind of like crazy. So we'll leave our movie news behind and we'll jump into our not our box office, our Billboard Hot 100 top 10 of the week for the week of, what is this week? May 18th, 2024. So number 10 this week, we have got Lose Control, Teddy Swims. At number 9, we've got Beautiful Things, Benson Boone. You guys have to excuse me. I'm recovering from being sick, so obviously, like, I still have a little something in my throat. Number 8, we've got Espresso, Sabrina Carpenter. Number 7, we've got Drake's Family Matters. And number 6, we've got Like That. That is from Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar. And at number 5, we've got a bar song, Tipsy by Shabuzi, who is on the new Beyonce album. So that's great that they're able to get a little bit of publicity from that and to jump onto the Billboard. Is this their first Billboard Hot 100 song? Probably. Number 4, we've got Taylor Swift, Fortnite. Number 3, we've got Euphoria, Kendrick Lamar. And number 2, we've got $1 Million Baby, Tommy Rickman. And at number 1, we've got Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. I told you guys last week about all the drama between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, and just based off the charts alone, it looks like maybe Kendrick Lamar might have whooped Drake's ass a little bit. So sorry to that man. We'll get into some good pop culture news after this. So we can jump into the good pop culture news of the week. We can start things off how we normally do. We start with the pop icon, pop culture history news. So we've got today is May 17th, and we are taking it back to 2004 when the first legal same-sex marriages in the U.S. were performed in Massachusetts. I mean, congratulations, right? It only took a million years. There shouldn't be anything wrong with two consenting adults getting married to one another, and it finally took 2004 for that to happen. I'm kind of curious to see if those couples are, like, still together. Maybe Maybe I want to look into that. So that's amazing. We've got some more good pop culture news to get into this week. We have got Zac Efron starring in a new horror flick all about a stripper serial killer. Oh my god, what? That sounds like crazy. So Zac Efron, who is coming off of the success of The Iron Claw, will star in Ty West's newest flick, Night Business, and it sounds like it's absolutely crazy. So Ty West is known for X, Pearl, the soon-to-be released Maxine, and I guess he's going to be setting up his next project because, according to insider scooper Daniel Richtman, Ty West is set to direct Night Business with Zac Efron set to star, based on the graphic novel by Benjamin Marra. So set in the 1980s, the story centers on a serial killer on the loose, one that targets exotic dancers. So Night Business also has a bit of a hero type storyline, with only one man being strong enough to take down the killer, Johnny Timothy. And I'm like, Johnny Timothy? Who's Johnny Timothy? I'm gonna check out this graphic novel. It sounds interesting. I love a comic book. Like Zac Efron in the 80s, like, it sounds amazing. What do you guys think? So Night Business is being described as a nasty brew of power, passion, vigilantes, and dangerous men raining straight justice down upon their enemies. Okay, I mean, that sounds like something I kind of want to check out. I mean, obviously, we've talked about Maxine coming out in the next couple of weeks. That looks amazing, and this looks kind of cool too. So I'm interested to see about that. We've got another flick in talks about being we've got Edgar Wright in talks to direct Barberella, the reboot, starring Sydney Sweeney. We have got Sydney Sweeney. She is just like the biggest thing ever. We talk about her literally every single week here on Pop Icon. And you know what? She deserves it. So Sydney Sweeney led Barberella film is taking shape with Edgar Wright in talks to direct the picture for Sony. Jane Goldman and Honey Ross are in talks to pen the script. So Variety.com writes all about this, saying that, what are they saying? They aren't really saying much. They really are just saying the facts of what has been put out there so far. So back in October 2022, Sydney Sweeney posted a photo of the heroine Barbarella on her Instagram saying, "Time to save the universe." So Barbarella is from 1968, starred Jane Fonda as the space-traveling heroine. It wasn't a box office success at the time, but has garnered a cult film status in the decades since. I'm like, wasn't Pamela Anderson Barbarella? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no, wait, I think she was in something called like Stripperella or something, like a porno version of it. I don't know. Was she? I need to look into that. That's like crazy to think about. So that's like amazing. I'm curious to see Sydney Sweeney with that like spacesuit on. It's like a little bikini, and she looked good in it. So we have got some more. We've got some more, not really some more. We've got some Real Housewives news. We've got some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills ladies joining the cast this new season, season 14. So we've got our first lady. Her name is Bozuma St. John, I guess. I don't know. I know that her resume seems like it's pretty impressive. So it seems like she's got some executive level stints at Netflix, Apple Music, Uber. She's taught courses at Harvard. She's a philanthropist. She's gorgeous. She's like serving a look. She's like got hair for days. Like, I'm just like, she's gorgeous, and she's exactly what this show needed. Like a bombshell to come on there and like get in the mix. I don't know. I think that she is insane. I think that she's so like beautiful, and apparently Kathy Hilton's coming back as a friend of. Apparently Jennifer Tilly will be showing up for cameo appearances. Eva LaRue, I think, was thought to be in the cast, but I don't know if she's actually going to be in it or not. But I'm curious. This past season of Real Housewives was actually kind of like a bore fest. They got rid of Crystal. They got rid of Anne Marie. They've got all the girls coming back. We've got some really sad news. Doreen and PK are like separating. We talked about. We already know Kyle and Mauricio are separating. So I think all the ladies on this show are like pretty much divorced or like single. Sutton, Garcelle, Dorit, Erica, Kyle. Is Bozuma married? Hopefully. We'll see. I don't know. I'm curious. So that's really fun. We've got we've got two icons linking up. We have got Abby Lee Miller and Nicolas Gazeltine meeting up at the Red, White, and Royal Blue for Your Consideration Emmy event. Took a picture together and posted it on Pop Base. So I'm obsessed with that because Abby Lee Miller is an icon. Nicolas Gazeltine, icon. He's beautiful too. So I don't know. I just had to talk about it for just a second. Really, there's not much news about it. It's literally just like, that's what's going on. They met up. So we've got some fun news. We've got some horror movie news. I should have talked about this after I talked about Night Business, but I didn't. So we have got the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot landing during the summer 2025. So the revival of I Know What You Did Last Summer is going to be setting our summers on fire this upcoming year, not this year, not 2024, but 2025, July 18th, 2025, the reboot will be released. So the Hollywood Reporter is saying that Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. were in talks to reprise their roles. I don't know if they actually are going to or not. I don't really know anything about it. I need to get into it and listen to the podcast, the Behind the Mask episode about the new I Know You Did Last Summer, so I can get an idea of where they're at, because I know that Mike Flanagan years ago had tried to reboot it and do a different type of I Know What You Did Last Summer. It was I don't know if it was an assault happens or something, and somebody starts up a podcast called I Know What You Did Last Summer. This, I haven't really heard any reboot news except for it's going to be based on the kids of them. I don't know. Is that really that interesting? Especially whenever supposedly Scream 7 is supposedly based around kids also. I don't know. I'm really, do we have to go there? So that's amazing. We can talk about some final pop culture news. Have you guys heard of Pop Culture Jeopardy? Jeopardy? Pop Culture Jeopardy is something that's going to be coming out here on Amazon Prime, I guess. I don't know when, but I want to be on it. So Amazon Prime Video has ordered Pop Culture Jeopardy, a spinoff of the long-running game show. So the series, which comes from Sony Television's game show division, marks the first time a Jeopardy series has been created for a streaming service. It's a new twist on the classic game show and will focus on categories from alternative rock to the Avengers, from Broadway to MMA, and Gen Z to Zendaya. Oh my gosh. Contestants playing in teams of 3 will compete in a tournament-style event for the grand prize and ultimate bragging rights. Oh my god, I need to be on this show. Are you kidding me? I know everything about pop culture, and that's all I talk about here. And they can be pop icon host David Carson is here on Pop Culture Jeopardy. I mean, it's kind of kismet whenever you think about it. So yeah, that's our good pop culture news of the week. We're gonna need some bad pop culture news after this, but we've got a little bit to get into. So we can get into the bad pop culture news of the week. We can start things off with the pop icon pop culture history, the bad pop culture history, I guess, from the year 2000, May 17th, 2000. We have the final Beverly Hills 90210 episode airing. So that was sad news that day in 2000, but just, I think 9 years later, I think Beverly Hills 90210 would be rebooted on the CW, starring Sinead Grimes, Jessica Straub, Tristan Wilds, and I think that they would also get another spinoff in 2018 maybe, on the actual Fox network of the actors playing themselves on the show. I don't know, it was kind of crazy. So that's fun that happened. I didn't watch Beverly Hills 90210 whenever it was airing. I think the year that it was ending, I was oh, that's an interesting type show. What is that? And then I started watching reruns that year, I think. And so after that, it was oh wait, I love those early seasons. The later seasons got really crazy. And then you throw Melrose Place into it, it was just too wild for me. So we can get into the bad pop culture news of the week. So we've got to start things off with this scary news. We talked about it on Pop Icon Radio last week. We have actor Steve Buscemi randomly attacked in broad daylight. So that was sad whenever that happened. But I guess in a little bit of good news, we've got the suspect who randomly attacked actor Steve Buscemi in broad daylight being identified by the NYPD. So authorities authorities have released the identity of the suspect accused of punching actor Steve Buscemi during a random attack while he was walking in Manhattan on Wednesday morning. So on Tuesday evening, the NYPD announced that... What are they talking about on Tuesday evening? Is today Tuesday? Today is like definitely Friday. So the NYPD announced that Clifton Williams, 50, was the man who reportedly punched Buscemi in the face. The 66-year-old star of Fargo and Boardwalk Empire was assaulted just before noon in Midtown Manhattan this past Wednesday and taken to a nearby hospital with bruising, swelling, and bleeding to his left eye. I mean, obviously he's like an older man. If you punch him like while you're just walking by him and like he's not expecting it, you're gonna like make him bleed, and that's like sad. So his publicist confirmed the assault, saying Steve Buscemi was assaulted in Midtown Manhattan, another victim of random violence in the city. He is okay and appreciates everyone's well wishes. I'm incredibly sad for everyone that this happened to him while also walking the streets of New York. This isn't the first time that somebody's been like punched, a celebrity especially. Bethany Frankel said that she got punched by like the other New York City puncher like a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, did that actually happen? I don't know, maybe, because like nothing actually came from that. And hers was like months later, like, oh yeah, this happened to me too. So I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. So we have got some more pop culture bad news of the week. We have got Jayda Shaves, is that how you pronounce her name? Jayda Shaves, apologizing for seemingly stolen swimsuit design. So earlier this week, Jayda took to Instagram to show off a new wait a minute, like get it, like wait a minute, her swimsuit posing in a bright orange flowered inspired bikini. Almost immediately, users of Twitter accused her of stealing the design from a small black woman owned swimwear company called Noir Swim, I guess. She also pointed out that Jayda was paid to model the brand's flower bomb design back in 2020. Whoa, saying, it's a shame that my friend worked so hard for business for years just for Jayda to steal her whole shit after she was paid to wear and post my friend's bikini. Weirdo flex. You really see stuff like this happen all the time with influencers stealing designs from black-owned businesses, but this is hitting differently. My friend only makes each swimsuit by hand, and here goes Jayda stealing it and sending it to China for production. Oh, not China for production. So before she apologized, she took to her Instagram story saying, oh, it's no shade. The girl I promoted back in 2020 was on the mood board for this summer swim. That's what fashion is about, remaking and recreating. It's no shade at all. I never take offense when I'm on somebody's mood board. It's how it go. Her response obviously didn't go very well with fans, and she later went to them to apologize again, saying, hi, I just want to say I am very sorry about all of this. I realized you weren't selling the bikinis anymore since 2021, so I didn't think it would be a big deal since there's plenty other brands that's this with that same concept. Oh, you're such a little bitch. I definitely understand how this made you feel because I've been a victim of things like this before, and I'd hate to not go about it the right way without taking the accountability as a black female business owner as well. I say all that to say I will not be selling the swimsuit that was inspired by your company. Wish you and your brand the best and much success. Maybe one day we can collaborate on something even hotter. XOXO, sorry again. I don't know. What a nasty response to that. I mean, there's no humbleness to me at all. It seems kind of rude, kind of, to point out that she doesn't sell the bikinis anymore, and then also that other people sell them. I don't know. It seems kind of odd to me that she is apologizing for that in that way. So, what do you think of her apology? Do you think it's real, or do you think it's bullshit? I think it's kind of bullshit if you ask me. So yeah, that's some bad pop culture news. That sucks that a small business is being stolen from, but Shein does it all the time. Fashion Nova, all of those brands they steal and they just recreate. Which I guess I get her point, but it's so fucked up to do. So we've got some more crazy news. Do you guys know about Jack Lee, the fired TikTok teacher with the braided hair? So I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's this TikTok teacher or former TikTok teacher who got fired after he posted videos of his female students undoing his hair in class after saying that he didn't have time to do it himself, using it as an example of bonding / interacting with his students. So the people were not happy about this. there's something very like like unprofessional about it, inappropriate about it. Like you don't have your students touching you. But that's controversial because people are saying that he made a relationship with his students that made them comfortable enough to want to do that. And I'm like, you also make a relationship with people and make them comfortable enough to do a lot of things. So I'm like, what like are you trying to really say there? So I don't know. I talked about it with some people at work, and like one of the girls, like she was telling me that her if it was her daughter, that like the teacher and like her made like a relationship, that she wouldn't see it as weird. But I don't know. I'm just like, I've heard too many stories about like the power dynamics of that type of relationship to know that like it's not equal. Like somebody who's like not your like equal should, I don't know, should not be undoing your hair. So strange. Like that's like an intimate act to me. I don't know. He was like very inappropriate. He was posting like TikToks of him like being like the emo boy, because it was like some like student, like some girl, I guess, in the bathroom, like saying like I only date emo boys, and then he was like he had like a filter that had like hair. I was just like, that's like kind of weird as like a teacher for you to like make that. Well, come to find out, he's been fired. There's like all these. I don't think that if you're like a teacher, you should like be TikToking your students. I don't know. I feel weird about it. I've seen people do it on like other apps before. People I know in real life. I'm like, it's kind of like awkward. You're like posting that out there, and then finding out they like post on like their Snapchat. I'm like, I don't know if I would like necessarily love for my child to be on a teacher's Snapchat, but I don't know. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. So that's crazy. We've got some other crazy news. We've got, oh man, you know the man behind the viral white gold dress? Do you remember that? Some people were like, it's black and blue, and others are like, it's white and gold. Well, court documents reveal that Keir Johnson threatened to kill his wife by strangling and choking her with both hands. You're like, wait, what? What are you talking about? So, I mean, you guys remember the man who started the viral dress debate. You probably don't remember the man, but you remember the debate. It's like the blue or black or white and gold. 9 years ago. It's already been 9 years, really? Yeah, that's like crazy to think about. Well, he has now confessed to assaulting his wife in a violent altercation. That's freaking crazy. So the 38-year-old from the Isle of Colonsay in Scotland, and his wife Grace went viral in 2015 when the dress his mother-in-law wore at their wedding was a subject of much discussion on the internet for its color. Some viewers saw it as black and blue, others saw it as white and gold. However, the dress was black and blue. Oh my god, hold on now, wait, because I'm looking at it like it's so white and gold. It wasn't black and blue. There's no way. There's no freaking way. So now years later, Mr. Johnson has been sentenced to jail after he admitted to strangling his wife. It reveals on March 6, 2022, Mr. Johnson pins his wife to the ground, sat on top of her, placed both of his knees on her arms so she was unable to move, then began strangling her with both of his hands. Oh my god. He threatened to kill her and took out a knife during the assault. Why do they post a picture of him? He's like happy. I'm like, this is so weird. According to reports, Miss Grace called the cops for help, saying, my husband is trying to kill me. Mr. Johnson was then heard making a threatening statement saying, someone is going to die. Oh my God. That's crazy. Like, and we would have never known about that man if he wouldn't have posted that picture. That's like crazy to like think about. So it's like sad for her. Hopefully, like, what happened? The attack happened after Mr. Johnson came home from a pub where he had been drinking. Wow. So Johnson woke up and said that he was going to leave her. When she tried to stop him, Mr. Johnson proceeded to attack her. She feared for her life, believing that he intended to kill her. So, wow. When the cops came, Mr. Johnson was hiding under a desk in the home, still clutching a knife. He allegedly put the blade to his throat at one point before it was confiscated. He's like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm like, oh my God, don't do it. Why are you going to kill yourself? Because you strangled your wife. Like, you're being weird. Like, just fucking go to jail, dude. Obviously, he's going, I guess. So, we've got some, oh man, this is like crazy. The man who owns the boat that killed the teen wakeboarder Ella Adler had no idea about, I guess, it. So, Carlos Guillermo Alonso, 78, is the owner of the vessel that struck Ella Adler while she was out wakeboarding. She was 15, wakeboarding with her friends when she fell into the water before being struck. The boat, which is owned by a 78-year-old man, allegedly hit her and left the scene. Alonso's lawyers say that he is devastated from the incident and is cooperating with the investigation. So the man who owns the boat that killed 15-year-old Ella Adler is devastated and had no idea that his boat was responsible for her death. What does that mean? Is this his boat was responsible for her death? Was he the one that hit her? The accident took place when Ella was wakeboarding with another friend. Before she was struck, she fell into the water. His vessel then allegedly traversed the area, struck Ella before leaving the scene. Let's see. If his boat was involved, I can tell you had absolutely no idea that what happened that day. He's devastated as anyone can be. I'm like, wow. Like, how do they not know? They need to find it out. He has had no contact with the criminal system. He does not drink. He does not drinking that Saturday. I guess they're saying that he was on the water. That's really sad that this child like lost her life though. Like, so rest in peace, Ella Adler. I guess we'll hear more about it. It was here in Florida, so really sad news. We've got some final news. We've got Beth Denberg talking some like really sad news. So yeah, like I said, we've got some like really sad news. We have got All That star Beth Denberg. You guys know Beth Denberg. She raised me. She was so funny. Like, she was probably one of the funniest cast members of All That. Like, I'll never forget her face. And, you know, you guys will know her whenever you look at her. So Beth Denberg, All That star, says Nickelodeon's Dan Schneider showed her porn, initiated phone sex, and lashed out to her on set. So Beth Denberg remembers Dan Schneider calling her into his office, telling her to shut the door in 1995 around Denberg's 19th birthday. Apparently, he invited her in to talk to her about a conversation that one of the female producers had talked about with her about her weight gain, which is already is like a sore subject. And Schneider told Denberg that he should have been the one to have that conversation. After all, he understood what it was like to be overweight. At first, Denberg said she appreciated the support, but the conversation shifted. And before she realized it, he was showing her pornography on the computer. And so she goes, I feel like that was the very first time that he preyed on me. So that is awful. Beth Denberg talks about how during her 4 seasons starring in All That between 1994 and 1998, that Schneider put her in countless uncomfortable situations, saying he lashed out on her on set, he played porn for her on multiple occasions, and once initiated phone sex. She said, looking back, she's disturbed by the power imbalance between herself and Schneider, who was a decade older than her and one of the most powerful people work on All That. So she does this interview with Business Insider talking about all of this, and it's wild, like the stories that she says. Schneider reached out, I guess, saying in a statement to Business Insider saying that her accusations are widely exaggerated and in most cases false. I don't know, dude, because it seems like you're the one who's been like kind of weird and like a liar lately. So Schneider, I guess, built a children's television empire at Nickelodeon with shows like The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, iCarly. But there has been a documentary called Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, which makes a bunch of really weird allegations saying that Schneider showed writers porn on his computer while they worked. He was constantly testing those around him, seeing how far he can push a person. So this is the first time that Denberg has publicly discussed Schneider at length, but not the first time that she's voiced her concerns. At around 2000, she told Albie Heck, then the president of film and television at Nickelodeon, and Brian Robbins, a co-creator of All That she was worried about how Schneider treated the actor Amanda Bynes. Wow. That's crazy. So according to Denberg and another person who worked at Nickelodeon, after she spoke with the executive, Denberg was barred from the set of The Amanda Show. Like, what, are you kidding me? Like, it seems like they knew something weird was going on and they had to stop it. They had to stop her from talking more about it. I feel bad for her. I'm hoping that, like, she can like get her piece after this, like talking about all of this, because obviously that's got to weigh on her for years, like knowing that she had to deal with that and she couldn't talk about it, but now she can because so many others are. So that's great. That's our bad pop culture news of the week. We're gonna get into some iconic pop culture news up next, so we can jump into the iconic pop culture news of the week. Actually, before we get into that, I totally forgot the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has another new diamond holder. And maybe it's better that I put her in the iconic section. So Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is going to be adding on Amanda D. Cadenet this upcoming season. I guess she was married to a member of Duran Duran, and she was like a member of like British like pop culture like society. I don't know. She was like part of like the whole like 80s, 90s movement over there. And she's like a big deal, actually. And I've known that name for years. I was like, how did I know that name? And then I thought about it. I was like, oh my God, my cousin Bridget, I think went to school or something with her like daughter. And like in like the first waves of like social media, like she was like one of the first girls I like ever heard of. Her name was like Atlanta. Atlanta like knew, like NU. I was like, oh my God, who's that chic girl? I mean, Atlanta knew. Like, I don't know. I thought she was like beautiful at the time too. I was like 13 or 14, I don't remember. But I just remember like knowing her and being like, I wonder if that girl's gonna be famous. I wonder if she is famous. I don't know. I need to look into that actually. Because I don't know. I don't remember if Bridget was like friends with her or not. I think they were just like they went to this, like the same school, but it was like that first whenever Facebook first came around, and so you could first like see like people's friends and stuff like that. And so me and my cousins would be like, "Who's that? Who's that girl?" I know. I'm like me and my cousins would be like, "Who's that girl?" I'm like, "Nah, I obviously shouldn't have been like." Talking about like who's that girl, considering like 3 out of like 5 of us were like ended up being gay-ish. Like that's hilarious to think about on now. So that's like funny to see that like she's gonna be on there. I wonder if her daughter's gonna be on there on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That'd be so interesting. It'd be very like kismet with my like life. Not that I even knew the girl, but I just like think that like having like knowing like having like 6 degrees of somebody, I was like, oh my God, maybe that means one day, someday I know we'll be on Real Housewives. So that's like interesting. We can get into the iconic pop culture news of the week. We can start things off with the pop icon pop culture history. May 17th, 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down a unanimous decision in Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka. Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka, ruling that racial segregation in public educational facilities was unconstitutional. So, I mean, obviously, like, everybody unifying after that, like, racism ended and everybody was happy, right? I don't think so. There was, like, a lot of back and forth. There's the whole civil rights movement right after that, and a lot more even in the years that I've been alive. So it's crazy to think about. But I mean, that's iconic news. So like at least start the proceedings, I guess. So we can get into some iconic pop culture news of the week. So the iconic news of the MTV Movie and Television Awards being axed this year has come out, and I, for one, am like really sad about it. Apparently, it first aired back in 1992 when it was called the MTV Movie Awards, and it is expected to return in 2025 with a reimagined format, according to various outlets. It's iconic, I guess, that it's just like done for the year, but it's like making me sad also. So it could have been in sad, like bad pop culture news. We've got that going on. What else do we have going on this week? We have got Chris Hemsworth. We have got him slamming ex-Marvel actors who bash their films, saying that humility goes a long way in show business. So Chris Hemsworth is obviously proud of the work that he's done throughout his acting career. The 40-year-old movie star is calling out Marvel actors who bash the films because they were box office flops, saying, it's like, they're films that were successful, put me in one. Oh, mine didn't work, I'll bash them. And it used to bother me when actors would later go about the show with the guilt or shame. Humility goes a long way. Oh, they totally like edited it out when he said he was talking about his soap opera past. So that's interesting. I love that he like called him out, because I know that Christian Bale, I know that like Dakota Johnson, like they all have like a lot to say about their roles on Marvel, and it wasn't always too nice. And you know what? They should be happy to get a fucking paycheck that is like $10 million. You know what I mean? I was gonna be like, you know what? At least they got the experience. No, they should be fucking happy that like they're doing like very easy work. It's fucking easy work. I'm sorry, saying lines and like being filmed and I don't know. The being beautiful part is like the hardest part, right? I don't know. We've got that little bit of iconic news going on. We've got some more iconic news. Did you guys hear about the portal? So there's a portal connecting New York City and Dublin, Ireland. However, it's been shut down over inappropriate behavior. So nearly a week after it first opened to the public, the portal art installation connecting New York City and Dublin, Ireland via a 24/7 live video stream has temporarily shut down. So yeah, that's like crazy. Instances of inappropriate behavior have come from a very small minority of portal visitors and have been amplified on social media. A spokesperson said. So I don't know. I did see videos of like people going up there and like pulling their pants down and showing their like breasts and all that. I don't know. So there were 2 identical portals or art installations that were connecting the 2 cities, separated by an ocean more than 3,000 miles away from each other via a 24/7 live video link. The New York City portal was located in the Manhattan Flatiron District. Isn't that where Steve Buscemi was attacked? Oh my God. Was he trying to go to the portal? And in Dublin, near O'Connell Street, the city's main street. I'm like, O'Connell Street, of course it's O'Connell Street. So that's beautiful. The portals connecting New York City and Dublin will shut down for a few days, but they will be back open by the end of the week. So we'll see how it goes. I would love to go check it out, right? That looks like a lot of fun, actually. Like, I would love to know if I know anybody in Ireland so that they can go see me over there. Probably not. Maybe I do. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So we've got some iconic news, dude. So have you seen that TikTok of that father talking about how him and his brothers jumped a 7-year-old girl's father for bullying his little girl, saying he went to the school, they had the sit down with the parents, and the kid was still bullying the kid, and so he said he had to do something about it. Obviously, he can't beat up the kid. So he had to beat up the dad in front of the kid. I'm like, oh my God, you traumatized that child. They'll never feel safe with their father ever again. So that happened. I'm like, how do you feel about it? Do you think it's appropriate if somebody does that? If somebody if somebody's kid is bullying your kid and you keep telling them to stop and you're like polite about it and they just won't stop, is it okay to like whoop their ass? Maybe. I don't know. I have to like think about it a little bit more. I like just to know, you don't fucking bully my kid. That's all I know. If you bully my kid, I might beat you up before I even like say like, hey, why is your kid bullying my kid? I might beat up your kid. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't think that would happen. So that's like some iconic pop culture news. We've got some more like just a little bit of iconic pop culture news in that Sheena Shea. It was revealed on Reddit, like somebody did like an interview with somebody that she knew when she was like in her teens, like, and I guess she hooked up with Carlos Solis from Desperate Housewives. I don't know what his name is. His name is like Ricardo Chavez or something like that. I don't know, like, but finding out that like he was like married and he was like hooking up with Sheena Shea, that tracks, because she also hooked up with Eddie Cibrian and other married guys, but then she's the first one to throw the stone at fucking Raquel, and it was actually really disgusting watching the Real Housewives, the Real Housewives of fucking Vanderpump, the Vanderpump Rules season 11 reunion, because there was like a moment where they like talked about Raquel, and in a moment where they could have reflected and been like, we feel bad that we talked about her the way that we did, and she's not part of our group anymore, we just want to like leave it alone. They like continuously bashed her and like made fun of her, and it just was like very, very annoying and off-putting for me to see, and I hated it. Actually made me turn off the reunion, and I like just ended up watching it back on Peacock whenever it was uncensored, so maybe that was better anyway. So that's like iconic that Vanderpump Rules is ending. We've got 2 more episodes, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see. Apparently the cast has taken out Vanderpump Rules from their like their like bios on like Instagram stuff, so you know it's like possible that they could be getting canceled. But why would you cancel one of like the most like iconic shows of time like right now? But there's just no story, I guess. I was listening to a podcast and they like broke it down really well. It was Kate Casey and Carlos King, and basically it's like they're not friends and they are all thinking that they're making a different show than what it actually is, and it might be time to just like put it to bed. So we've got some more fun news. We've got Sarah Paulson calling out an actor who emailed her 6 pages of notes after watching her, saying it was outrageous and I hope to see you never. So that's hilarious. So Sarah Paulson was on the Smartless podcast that's hosted by Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, Will Arnett. And she reveals that she had an outrageous experience after a show doing Broadway one time, saying, I did a play once, the last time I was on stage, I did a play called Tally's Folly about at the Roundabout, and the actress, I'm going to say this, I'm not going to ask you to cut this out because I don't fucking care. This actress came to the play. Her name is Trish Hawkins. Hi Trish. Hi Trisha. Trish Hawkins came to the play. Am I going to get sued? I don't care. I think this is just outrageous. She continued going. She came to the play, proceeded to say, she looked at me up and down and goes, your dress is yellow. Mine was pink. And I thought, what? So apparently Hawkins originated the role of Sally Tally in Tally's Follies, both during its 1979 off-Broadway run and its Broadway debut in 1980. In 2013, Sarah Paulson played the same character in the off-Broadway revival of the Lanford Wilson play. So according to Paulson, her own mother had brought Hawkins with her to watch Tally's Folly because they were in some kind of writer's thing together. I'm like, okay, interesting. She goes, cut to 2 days later, I got an email that was 6 pages long of notes and a communication to me about what she had done to the play, what she recommended that I do. It was outrageous. It was really outrageous. Trisha Hawkins, I have not forgotten it. I hope to see you never. Says she admits that she still has Hawkins' notes, but she never told her mother about the incident, saying, I just put it back in the file of things my mother has done. I'm like, what else has her mother done? Oh my God. So that's actually hilarious. We've got some more news. We've got Colleen Hoover not announcing the Colleen Hoover book, It Ends With Us trailer being released, but it's the movie trailer, obviously. So it stars Blake Lively, it stars Justin Baldoni, it stars Brendan Skangler. I don't know what his name is. That's like interesting. So it was directed by Justin Baldoni, who was he's from Jane the Virgin, and it's like about an abusive relationship. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And like the trailer, I'm sorry, it seems like very odd. And I'm gonna say it right here because I'm like, I think that it's just strange. It's like she's being abused by like the white guy who's like dark, like complected, but then like the whiter guy comes in and like saves her. I don't know, it's like very odd. I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily want to watch this, but I know that a lot of women love it, and so like I've got to talk about it, right? Are you gonna watch it? Tell me if you are, yes or no. So that's amazing. We have got some more fucking hilarious pop culture news. We have Kyle Richards having a meltdown over a rat on her car. So Kyle Richards posted a harrowing and unintentionally hilarious story on her Instagram Monday night saying, so this happened to me today. I stopped for coffee and was sitting in my car looking at emails. Suddenly a creature comes up and attacks. So it is the funniest video. It's just like her freaking terrified for her life and this rat just like looking at her, standing on her car and looking at her. She's like, what do I do? What do I do? She's like, sees a man like walking by. She like starts to knock on the window. Like, she's like, he didn't hear me. I was crying watching this video. I'm going to post it hopefully on my story so you guys get the chance to watch it. But it's so funny. Kyle Richards, you will always be iconic. So that she's obviously filming Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 14. I wonder if she's met Amanda de Cadenet or Bozuma yet. So that's like fun pop culture news. We've got a couple more stories to talk about. We've got George Miller saying that Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy, I guess, had like a feud on the set of Mad Max Fury Road, and it was all down to Tom Hardy and his rudeness, the fact that he doesn't show up to set on time. She shows up at 7 o'clock, he shows up hours later, and apparently she went off on him one day. And I'm like, you need to stop framing it like it's like her fault. It is his fault. He isn't showing up on time, and he needs to show. They need to get Nicki Minaj's like little assistant over there being like, there's no excuses. He needs to show up on time. He just needs to be there. He needs to be there. So that's like amazing to me, like that they're feuding on the set of that movie that came out like years ago, and he's like talking about it now. So we've got some more news. We've got Megalopolis. Is that how it's pronounced? It's premiering at Cannes, and they got the 7-minute like applause that all the films get, but apparently not much more. So I feel bad about that, but apparently there's like a lot going on the set of it, and it all is thanks to the director, our friend Francis Ford Coppola. So these details come out. I'm very like suspect about like timing and stuff. So Francis Ford Coppola would allegedly pull women to sit on his lap and try to kiss extras during one scene to get them in the mood. It was written around 300 times over the years. He would reportedly sit in his trailer for hours smoking weed while the cast and crew waited to film. The crew members saying it was like watching a train wreck unfold day after day, week after week, and knowing that everyone there tried their hardest to help the train wreck be avoided. I'm like, the fucking movie looks good. Like, what are you talking about, train wreck? It looks fun to me. So he reportedly ditched the he ditched the volume filming for the more traditional green screen, saying his digs at us were always, I don't want to make a Marvel movie. But at the end of the day, that's what he ended up shooting. You know what? It looks good. You better stop being a fucking hater. Like, you random person who worked on the set who, like, had a bad experience. I'm going to watch it when it comes out. When does it come out? I need to look into that. So we have got some more news. We got our news to finally end things this week. So the House Oversight Committee fell into chaos on Thursday night after Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene made an offhanded remark about Rep. Jasmine Crockett saying to her, I think your fake eyelashes are messing up what you're reading, which caused Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to jump in, saying, this is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person? Green jumps in, saying, are your feelings hurt? Later on, she comes back for her. Jasmine Crockett jumps in there saying, I'm just curious, just for a better understanding of ruling, if someone on this committee then starts talking about someone's bleach blonde, bad built, butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct? I'm like, these girls, they're really giving it to each other in Washington, D.C. Like, you girls, calm it down. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you shouldn't have said what you said to her. And Jasmine Crockett, what you said to Marjorie Taylor Greene was amazing, actually. So I'm not even going to hate on you for it. Because if somebody said, you're going to call me out for my fake eyelashes, bitch, that fucking bleach blonde is seeping into your fucking head. And that double cheeseburger that you had and the fucking 12-pack of Stella before you came into this fucking meeting, that affects more than my fucking eyelashes do, you fucking bad built bitch. I love that she kind of said that, because it was like, there was no need for her to say that. There was no need for her to say your fake eyelashes were messing up her reading. Because, like, I don't know. And I'm like, is Huffington Post posting this photo of Marjorie Taylor Greene on purpose? Because it's like kind of like a close up of her face, and it's like, she's got the shittiest eyelashes. She's barely got any, and they're like, it's like matted down, and like, I'm like, girl, what's going on there? So maybe they're kind of clowning on her. I don't know. So that's the end of things for this week. Sorry, you guys. We had to end on like a political note, but I think that the fact that they were like giving each other like Real Housewives like insults, it's not so much political as it is like iconic. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys already don't, be sure to check out Pop Icon Radio on Instagram at Pop Icon Radio, and definitely check out Pop Icon Radio live on the Alternation Radio Mondays through Fridays, just Wednesdays from 8 to 9 in the morning now, where we're going to be recapping Pop Icon the podcast. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I guess I will see you guys next week. Bye.